Hey everybody, jumping on for a little Monday morning action with you all. I've got Instagram over here, and I've got YouTube over here. So I got two of you guys in here. I don't have a third device. Buongiorno, buongiorno. What's going on? I see everybody filing in Instagram, and then of course over here. Good morning, good day. How's everybody doing? So listen, I'm gonna be going with what's going on, Ray Sean. I'm gonna be going back and forth between everybody and just be patient with me. But we're just gonna be chilling tonight. Just so you all remember, we're not gonna be doing a 7 o'clock show because I have to go to a town hall meeting over here in my place, in my neck of the woods to see what what is in store for the studio building. You know what the future of what our future at the studio building looks like, if there's going to be some sort of redevelopment of the property or whatever. So that's going to be that's 7 o'clock tonight. So I wanted to make sure that we at least do this morning and hang out, and then later on tonight we still will have book club at 9 o'clock. I'll be back home by then. So no, I did not feel the earth shake. I see David just asked that over here. Anybody in Instagram, if you're in the Northeast, did you feel any earth shaking? One of a couple of our friends from like the New England, the New Hampshire, Vermont area said that they felt some jitters. So if you felt it, go ahead. Let me know. Nothing in Connecticut. So yeah, don't worry, D. I mean, I'll let everybody know. Jay says that was him taking a dump, not Jay Gulinello. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Quite frankly, elevation blend coffee with some keto brains in it. It's Mexican, Ethiopian, and Peruvian. Okay, a light roast. Wonderfully delicious coffee. No Colombian in it. You want to read this with me? Listen. I've been having a great time. The last week. Aside from the Stargate thing, which is very disappointing, and that's perturbing to me. And we're going to do a lot more on Stargate. But other than that, I'm having a great time. I love what's going on here. I love this back and forth with Colombia as well. To hell with I don't care about Colombian coffee. Even if I was a fan of it, who cares? You know how many countries produce coffee? Big time. I just went out and I grabbed, I don't know, a couple dozen of them. Laos. What about Laos? Vietnam. Okay. Finally, some return on investment. Honduras, Mexico, Nicaragua, Tanzania, El Salvador, Papua New Guinea, Costa Rica, Guatemala, India, Ethiopia, which is part of the Quite Frankly blend, Brazil, Indonesia, Uganda, Peru, Ivory Coast, Kenya, Venezuela, just to name a few outside of Colombia. Who cares? I don't care anymore. Everybody trying to, you know what it is? What you're seeing that right now is the entire planet. Yeah, just grow the coffee yourself. The entire planet, or a good part of it now, is starting to resist a little bit any change in the order that they have gotten used to. That in one way or another they probably were promised everything would remain status quo. The status quo being, we're a bunch of chumps over here in the United States. We don't care about our borders. We don't care about anything economic. We will slice our throats economically for symbolic gestures toward the climate, though everybody else keeps building more. They're doubling coal burning plants in places like China and India, tripling it all over the place. We're killing ourselves symbolically, and of course diminishing national sovereignty. And what? These pathetic little. Here, let's go to the timeline of events. We'll do this together, because I wanted to read this. Brazil coffee is cocaine. Their green beans give a buzz. Really? The coca leaf? As long as it's light roast, I'm fine. I've just been getting away from dark roasts. I don't like that burnt ashtray taste like some of you guys do. So it's not a it's not a it's not a thing I like. This is from Zero Hedge. Ready? For those in the market breathing repeated signs of relief that Trump has so far not imposed sanctions on China or in any other country, we have some news. Case in point, Saturday afternoon, one day after Colombia's president, Gustavo Petro, refused to allow 2 military flights from the United States full of undocumented migrants, illegal aliens, to land on its soil, President Donald Trump announced on his Truth Social platform. Why isn't he? This is what I don't understand. He's the president now. Why aren't all these things he's publishing on Truth at least mirrored on the POTUS Twitter? I don't understand that. Get off it already and get this uniform. This should be like across the board everywhere. In a social media post, Trump said that he had ordered an emergency 25% tariff because, listen to this. Here's the official post. I thought it was pretty cool. I liked it. I was just informed that 2 repatriation flights from the United States with a large number of illegal criminals were not allowed to land in Colombia. This order was given by Colombia's socialist president, Gustavo Petro, who is already very unpopular amongst his people. Petro's denial of these flights has jeopardized the national security and public safety of the United States, so I have directed my administration to immediately take the following urgent and decisive retaliatory measures. Emergency 25% tariffs on all goods coming into the United States. You're going to have to find another source of cocaine, ladies and gentlemen. 25% tariffs will be raised to 50 in 1 week. A travel ban and immediate visa revocations of the Colombian government officials and all allies and supporters. Visa sanctions on all party members, family members, supporters of the Colombian government. Enhanced government border protection. Enhanced customs and border protection and inspections of all Colombian nationals and cargo on national security grounds. Does that include CIA planes? IEEPA Treasury, banking, and financial sanctions to be imposed. These measures are just the beginning. We will not allow the Colombian government to violate its legal obligations with regard to the acceptance and return of criminals that they forced into the United States. I'm good with it. I'm good with it, man. Now that the mushrooms have fully dissolved into the coffee, I don't even care about half and half anymore. So that was over the weekend. What happened after that was this. Let me get the full statement out. Colombia offers presidential plane to help repatriate deportees from the United States. So the next thing that happens is they say, hey, you want a plane? We'll figure it out. But then it started getting a little bit testy. Here's the official statement after that. Bogota, January 26th, yesterday. The government of Colombia confirms its participation in the Extraordinary Assembly of the Communities of Latin American and Caribbean States, scheduled for January 30th, blah, 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 in preparation for the summit, blah, blah. At the same time, Colombian government, under the leadership of President Gustavo Petro, arranged the presidential plane to facilitate the dignified return of the compatriots who were to arrive in the country this morning from deportation flights. The measure responds to the government's commitment. Why is this so small? To guarantee dignified conditions. See, we're the bigger people here. We're the bigger people. We're going to make sure that this is a dignified process. We're the bigger people. I love this. I love it. I especially love, for you guys on Instagram and you guys on YouTube, I especially love the clips that I saw of J.D. Vance with that Margaret chick on television over the weekend. And the counterpoints were just fine. But the real thing I love is the I don't care. It's over. And every time she had some kind of a quirked brow or a facial contortion that always comes along with those, like the John Oliver types. You know, the we've talked about it before, the John Oliver types that it's like one non sequitur after another, and it's just call and response nonsense, and it's all about the facial contortions to message to the audience, who the bigger people in the room are and who is deserving of ridicule and mockery. Well, that's all over the news. They do if you work on Comedy Central, your main punchline is your facial contortion. But if you work on CNN or MSNBC, Face the Nation or whatever, you're doing it subtly because you want to act like you're a responsible camp counselor and you want to be there to check any kind of authority that's on your show if they got some information wrong. They still pretend like they're, like they're actually necessary, that they are not the fifth column, that they are the fourth estate. They're not. They're part of the state. And I loved J.D. Vance's just, I don't care. Margaret, don't care. Don't give a shit. And that's the best thing. That's the best thing. Because these people, disarmed, they're used to everybody being afraid of encountering their wrath. And they have completely evaporated any of the compassion that people have, especially on things like the illegal immigration issue. The compassion people once had on that has been totally evaporated. So you can take your facial contortions, you can take your quirked brows, your John Oliver faces, and shove them right up your ass, along with all of your Colombian coffee beans. That's it. Make anal beads out of those coffee beans. Nobody gives a shit. I certainly don't. Can get coffee anywhere. Who cares? Anyway, so there's a little bit back and forth. This is this morning, though, at 5 a.m. Just after 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and under 10 hours after Trump lobbed the first shot in the first trade war of his second administration, the White House announced that Colombia had agreed of all Trump's terms, including unrestricted acceptance of all illegal aliens from Colombia returned from... Oh, man. I guess little old Colombia realized that them putting import taxes on us we don't give a shit. Don't give a shit. Go ahead. Whatever. We literally can be self-sufficient in all areas here in the United States. We have willfully, actually no, against our will, people who own this place have chopped us up and sold our body parts around the world. We are not dependent. We should be completely, and I want that for every nation too. We'll love every nation to be as independent as possible, and where you need something to be supplemented, that's when you become a good neighbor and a good merchant to the rest of the world. But this whole, no, I want to see more of this, and I think we're going to. Guys, the big thing, let's see. Gina says, I have a lot of Colombian friends who don't like Trump. Who cares? And that's the best part. Who cares? There's a lot of Americans that don't like Trump. There's a lot of Colombians that probably love Trump. There's probably a lot of Colombians who hate their government. As long as we're not giving foreign aid to anyone, then let everybody go out there and stand on their merits and stand on whatever the hell it is that they produce. And let's be good friends. As far as the deal is good. I mean, that's how we all act in our personal lives. Our personal lives and how we act with our neighbors in our neighborhoods and our apartment buildings and all that stuff is just a microcosm of how nations have to deal with each other on, macro levels. So there's just a lot of uneven playing field here, and it's just stupid. Let's see here, including the White House announced that Colombia had agreed to all Trump's terms, including unrestricted acceptance of all illegal aliens from Colombia, returned from the United States, including U.S. military aircraft without limitations or delay. Based on this agreement, the White House notes the hastily drafted tariffs and sanctions, quote, will be held in reserve and not signed unless Colombia fails to honor this agreement. All right. Well, all right. I'm good with it. And that's one thing down. So, like I said, outside of Stargate, and I'm always looking for more stuff, I'm pumped. I like the pace. I like how it's blinding pace, and the media really doesn't know what to do. The fact that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and these retards like Hakeem Jeffries are like, they have people like Hakeem Jeffries saying, presidents come and go, but God endures on his throne. It's like, listen, you cross-eyed, discount Obama. Your party's platform is based on abortion and human trafficking in the form of illegal immigration because you want to supplant native voting populations. Shut up about God and his throne. Please shut up. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is like, you know what this is going to do to the price of coffee? Like, I don't give a shit. Who cares? Tom Homan's finding lost children all over the place. What do you guys think about that? God will not be mocked. Yeah. Yeah, what kind of mockery is that? To have someone like Hakeem Jeffries say, you know, presidents come and go, but God is forever. They couldn't even mention God 6 months ago without being burned in effigy by their own people. Now they're trying to find some kind of moral foothold against what? This is exactly what people are looking for. Hairway, this is not all a distraction. This is just a lot of things happening at once. Don't lean on the distraction crutch. A lot of things are happening at once. You got to be able to spin a lot of plates. Okay, let me just look at what's going on in the chat rooms. I'm just going to read you guys for a little bit, and we're going to talk. We're going to see a lot of born-again Christians. Well, you're going to see a lot of conversions of all type. Let's see here. The price of coffee does nothing but go up like it makes a difference. Yeah. The real thing is when you find yourself a good coffee brand, like the Quite Frankly coffee, which is not Colombian, have it at home and brew it yourself. You know, years ago, and I wish I had taken this advice when I was 18 years old. I tried, but you know, you don't have a lot of money when you're 18 as it is, and when you do have money, you want things like, you know, protein shakes. At least when I was in high school, all I wanted was protein shakes and to put gas in my car, and of course to fix the car when it broke down. But I learned back then that especially if you're around 18 years old, if you find that latte factor, it was called a latte factor, okay? And back then, back in like, you know, 2000, 2001, 2002, these books that I was reading were just like, listen, if you're 18 years old and you put aside $5 a day, and you'll have $1 million by the time you're 40 or whatever the hell it was, and depending on what kind of account you're putting it in, the interest, 5% interest, I don't know. But the whole point there was latte factor. Most people go out and they stop by their favorite coffee place, and maybe they have a nice little local dinette, luncheonette, where you can still get a, $4 coffee and it's fine. But, these boutique coffee shops, or those of you who are still addicted to Starbucks, you go in there and you're paying $11 for some 20-ounce something. I mean, damn, $11 a day. Make it yourself. Make it yourself, man. I found Brazilian green coffee energy drinks I forgot to eat, and I was up. I'll tell you one thing. I had black tea one day without eating first. I went to a client's house, my old client, my late client Shirley. God bless her. Um, she was already like she was like past 92 years old or so at this point, and we had stopped really working out a lot because she couldn't walk that much anymore. We were doing a lot of because she had Parkinson's, and part of the things that we were doing, this has nothing to do with the story, but I just tell stories. But she had Parkinson's, so a lot of what we were doing was a lot of boxing. I said, Shirley, when she was like about 89 years old, what would you think about boxing? She said, I'd love it. So I got her some gloves, and she started hitting it just so she could feel just something going on, and she loved it. And it like calmed her shakes down. We did a lot of Tai Chi related stuff, and it was a lot of fun. But toward the end there, we started hanging out. She just started saying, "Come over for breakfast, and let's just have some tea." So I would go over there, and every once in a while we would have some tea and whatever was out there. One day I just had tea and I didn't have anything to drink. It was black tea. And I was so jittery by the time I left. I said, all right, Shirley, I got to get home. I felt something going through me. I had to pull over. I was halfway home. I had to pull over and crawl through the passenger side and open the door. And I had a couple of I almost started throwing up. I don't know what the hell she did with this tea was, that she tried to kill me. But I started dry heaving. And after a couple of heaves, I guess the adrenaline, I don't know, I calmed down. Nothing came out. But I will never have black tea on an empty stomach again. I had to pull over. Anybody ever? Yeah, yeah. It was an empty stomach. I was like, holy shit, that does it to you? Actual nausea. Yeah. I was halfway home. I said, am I gonna have to pull over and throw up? Pulled over, scrambled to the other end. I did a couple of heaves, and nothing came out. Fine. I rolled down the windows, and I was okay. What did this mean? It means don't get into a trade war with Donald Trump. That's what it means. Okay, let's see. What else you guys have? On Tuesday night, tomorrow night, I think we have Bob Motta coming on. On Wednesday night, I think we're going to have Robin McCutcheon. We're also going to do another Birthright Citizenship roundup, which is the history of the Birthright Citizenship scam is interesting, because then you can go back in time. We did the 14th Amendment back in 2018. Chrisanne Hall did a lot of great breakdowns on this recently. Go to her Twitter and elsewhere. But I want to get back into it. We talked a lot about Michigan Senator Jacob Howard in 2018. I remember that. And how, we're talking about people who were part of that Civil Rights Act of 1866, which was like the precursor to the 14th Amendment. And again, how people are so uneducated and ignorant, everything. They don't understand what the hell is going on. They don't understand that for most things, especially when you talk about constitutional amendments, there are volumes of debates. There are volumes of debates that the drafters have on record that are part of the congressional record there, that define very, very specifically the original intent of every law, and especially constitutional law in this country. There's no if, and, or buts about this. Just like the object of secession. Think about how ridiculous this is, that you just fight a war for independence against Great Britain. And the first thing you do is you establish a central power from which the sovereign states could never be able to break away from. It's ridiculous just on the face of it. We can get into the history of secession in the country, which of course leads right into the Civil War, which is what that was really all about, the right to secede. And secession as an American tradition is actually not even really a Southern thing first. There's plenty of early secessionist movements from the North, especially after President Jefferson, picked up the Louisiana Purchase. Northern states wanted to secede immediately because they thought that all the new land that was picked up during the Louisiana Purchase was going to result in far more Southern congressional representation. So, that's just one thing. It's ridiculous on the face. Also, ridiculous on the face of things is this idea that Americans, especially in the 19th century, coming at Reconstruction America, would put in an amendment to the Constitution that would allow anybody from any part of the world to travel here, to cross the border at 9 months pregnant, to squeeze a kid out, and then instantaneously the child and everybody attached to the child is now a citizen and enjoys the privileges of citizenship of the United States. It is stupid on the face of it. On the face of it. And we can go through all of it if you want, and we will, because I'd really like to. But the law is only made flexible and ambiguous by the machinations of mealy-mouthed lawyers and activist judges. That's really it. The average person is oblivious to this stuff. How illegal precedent, like Roe versus Wade, or this whole concept of birthright citizenship, these illegal precedents that only pop up and have any kind of origin in activist courts, they simply just become political tradition. I'm going to get into the chat room and scroll up and get you guys. It becomes political tradition. It's not law, has nothing to do with it. I have an old clip here, newspaper clipping, from late 19th century that actually quotes Senator Jacob Howard. And he's talking about the 14th Amendment. Here's a little bit of it. This amendment, which I have offered, is simply declaratory of what I regard as the law of the land already, that every person born within the limits of the United States and subject to their jurisdiction, which means that you are not subject to the jurisdiction of any other nation. Okay, if you are a foreign national from Peru, from Liechtenstein, from Poland, and you come across the border, you still answer to the government of Liechtenstein, okay? So he says, subject to the jurisdiction is by virtue of natural law and national law a citizen of the United States. This will not, of course, include persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens, who belong to the families of ambassadors, or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States, but will include every other class of persons. This was about establishing this was a temporary fix to establish citizenship for freed slaves. So, I mean, this is what we're talking about here. To every amendment, to every aspect of constitutional law, there is... What are you doing here? What do you think you're doing?
I built a fort upstairs. Would you like to see it?
You built a fort?
Yeah.
Where?
And upstairs in my room, and it has my blanket, and it has a pillow, and it has baby in it.
Okay, wait, so you built a fort, and inside your fort is a blanket and a pillow, and your baby's in there too?
Mm-hmm.
You left your baby upstairs all alone?
What do you mean, Buffy?
No, your
Right
baby.
there.
Oh, okay. So Frothy is there with baby, and they're keeping each other company.
No. Fluffy is in my big bed.
Okay, Frothy, everybody, is her sloth, and baby is a little tiny purple penguin, right? This is what we're talking about.
Yep.
Okay, so baby's inside your new fort.
Mhm.
Okay. Some people want to know if they can go in your fort as well and sleep in there.
It's very cozy.
It's a cozy fort.
Yeah.
I brought pictures.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh.
What, everybody?
Okay. Oh, well, oh, hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Whoa. That is. Hold on. There you go. Instagram. Wow.
Got a couple other angles. That's the up top view.
Wow, you built all that?
Yep.
Did mommy help you at all?
Nope.
You did all yourself?
Mhm.
And there you can see baby in there. That's baby.
See? That's baby the purple penguin. Wow. Wow, you did it.
And I learned to sleep and that's on my list today.
Good for you. You're like a little architect.
No. I'm not that person. I'm a doctor.
An architect is someone who designs buildings.
Hey.
Okay. All right. So now she's going to assault me.
I'm
Anyway, all right, let's see
hungry
here.
for lunch.
Let's see here. What's going on, John Michael? Pickled farmer, I'm a gamer. Troy, man, what's going on? I'm looking at everybody on the Instagram as well. Wave back to you all, waving to you all. How are you? All right, so listen, I'm going to be on for a couple more minutes. Just so you know. Yeah, every time I hear that knock, I know. Always call me Pickled Farmer. I don't know why, Pickled. But it just stuck, and now I can't get it out of my head. Leave it to magats to reinterpret the Constitution. Asics, you are such an idiot. What you're talking about here is an actual courtroom reinterpretation that you think is law. It's not. I mean, you're the exact thing that you're describing. Come on, man. Come on. You got to be kidding me. How does this benefit you? I'm happy that we have some opposition in the chat room because I like asking the question, how does this benefit you? How does this benefit any nation? Like, think about it. If you accept that logic, that is all there is to it, that it has been set up by generations that you probably would have on any other day considered to be racist, exclusionary, xenophobic freaks. So you're telling me the original and the stated intent of this amendment by a 19th century Congress was to allow literally anybody to cross the border, to flout all immigration and naturalization laws, have a child, and bingo, you won, you beat us. You win. You're now a citizen, and and now let the chain migration begin. Just please, are you still here watching? Please let me know. You really, that is logical to you? I need to understand where you're coming from. It's very fascinating. It's fascinating to me, like from a zoological standpoint. I want to know more about your brain. Yes, Mike. It was there to make right with a bunch of people who were held in captivity, and now were made citizens, who were just free. Damn. What's up, Misfit Media over there on Instagram? What's going on, Larkstar? I mean, I just want to know. You could be a progressive. Listen, if you're a progressive, you're a liberal out there, and you think that we should have more open. Then let's talk about how you can get that done. Please just don't lie to me about this. Don't lie to yourself. It makes you look really, really silly. If you stand by open border immigration policy and you want to achieve that through some kind of act of Congress or whatever the hell else you can cobble together the political will to achieve, then that's one thing. Then stand by your position there. But don't tell me that this was the original intent. Don't tell me that this is not a scam that you are fine with. Just tell me, no, yeah, it's the machinations of an activist court, and I'm okay with it. But don't tell me that I'm reinterpreting law. Come on, that makes you look stupid. Listen, I'm drinking coffee with keto brains in it. My brain is I'm buzzing right now. Do you understand? No, it's okay if they're a troll. It's okay, because we don't get a lot of that. We don't get a lot of that. I want opposition in there because it's fascinating. Not only that, but these are the same type of people who say, well, they're, illegal immigrants are taxpayers, therefore they're it's like, come on. If I went to Italy, if me and Lauren and Aurora went to Italy on vacation, I got a tourist visa. Here's how ASIC says, I never said it couldn't be changed nor that it shouldn't be. Just because they found a loophole doesn't mean that the amendment doesn't allow it to happen. But ASICs, listen to me. Thank you for sticking with me. Law, when you write a law, we're talking about contracts. When you go and you draft a contract with anybody, any neighbor in your neighborhood for anything, you're not going to go in with a lawyer and in arbitration, a mediator, whatever the hell it is. You're not going to draft a contract with somebody and have every term in the contract be loose for interpretation based on the emotional or political whims of the current day every day after the contract is signed. There's no loophole. You don't write in loopholes. This is like, these are the same, and these are the people who will say that the general welfare clause in the Constitution is the justification that the government could literally legislate on anything outside of their very limited enumerated powers, as long as they justify that it's for the general welfare of the United States. It is, by the very basis of it, a ridiculous proposition that we just finished fighting a war against Great Britain. We get together, they draft as an act of Congress, we're drafting an extremely limited form of government here. We're constructing an extremely limited federal government that at the same time has a blank check to do whatever it wants. It makes no sense. How can you limit all of the federal government's actions and authorities to a list this long, but also put a clause down here that says, by the way, you can do anything? Kenny, this has been disputed over and over again. The SCOTUS disagreed with you every time. SCOTUS is bullshit. SCOTUS is not. See, this is what I'm talking about, ASICs. You're not. You don't understand where you live. If you are an American, you don't understand American government. The Supreme Court of the United States is part of the judicial branch. They're not legislators. They issue opinions. They do not write law. Opinions can and should be ignored. Now, when you're talking about contract disputes, intellectual property, things like that, you're operating on a really, really limited level here. And I hope you don't go out into the public and keep saying this stuff. I think you should retreat from public life and go into a place of prayer and penitence and research. That's where you should be. Nobody in your position should be talking in public about anything. You really shouldn't. You should be observing, listening, and reading every damn book you can get. Prayer and penitence, my friend. It's like when...
Don't stop asking questions if you're in the right place.
Yes. And you can email me. No, SCOTUS does not interpret law. They apply law, ASICs. This is so... so, anyway, listen, you keep working on it. Hopefully you're on the path. Because, hey, listen, you got to ask questions. And maybe once that fire of curiosity is lit, it becomes a wildfire. That would be great. But right now you're playing with not a full deck. And I can't hold it against you because, we have terrible education here in the United States. And what are you going to do? Oh, whatever. Listen, whatever. Anyhow, what's going on, Fearless Mother over there on Instagram? Good to see you. What was the other thing I was going to say? Kenny, Brian McClanahan. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can do me a favor, Instagram, YouTube, whenever you see Brian McClanahan tweet on Twitter, or wherever he uploads a new episode of the Brian McClanahan podcast on YouTube, say, Brian, we want to see you back on Quite Frankly. I put in several requests over the last 6 to 7 months or so, and I'm not one to keep asking because I don't want to look like when an inbox starts just being populated with all of your inquiries. Even though every message is separated by 2 to 3 months, you start looking like a obsessed lover or an ex-lover or something like that. I don't want to do that. But at the same time, I really want to talk to him about the Articles of Confederation. I want to talk to him about things like birthright citizenship. Robin is coming on Wednesday night. Maybe I can get Chris Ann Hall to call in the second half of the show to chime in on birthright citizenship. That'd be great. But whenever you see Brian McClanahan tweet, just say, hey, we'd love to see you back on Quite Frankly. Maybe he'll reach out to me again. We've had him on 2 or 3 times. They're always a good time. I'm sure he's not upset by the fact that I sometimes curse on air because he's done several collaborations with Razor Fist now. So I don't know. Either way, there's that. Oh, okay. You plugged your coffee on Chris Ann's. Oh, good. Maybe Chris Ann will come on for a lightning round in the second hour of Wednesday night's show. Maybe ASICS will call in. I would love to hear ASICS call in. If ASICS is still watching, I'm telling you, ASICS is going to be one of our friends soon. There's something there. The first step in turning your life around is not running away from opposition and opposition positions, but standing there, listening, trying to come up with better responses. And then when you realize that you've run out of anything that you can counter with, and you just start getting into name calling, I don't know. I have a feeling ASICS is going to be our friend soon. And that's going to be a wonderful, wonderful conversion story. Right, ASICS? You going to stick around? Good. That's going to be a wonderful conversion story, my friend. And guess what? Despite what everybody on television tells you, you don't have to give up your compassion, your humanity. You don't have to become a racist. You don't have to do any of that stupid stuff. I'm not asking you to turn your life around. Stop that. See? You see? 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 Stop watching Young Turks. See? It's going to be great. You're going to love it. It all started today. What is today? The 27th of January. So, all right. So here's what I got. Here's what I just got to remind you guys of, because I'm gonna get off in a little bit. I'm going to do more coffee streams, especially because we're going to be bringing on Keto Brains as a sponsor. And I'm so happy about that. because it's going to be great. I use it so much, and I'm happy about that. I love it. But other than that, I love these coffee streams. Today was important because I'm not going to be on air tonight. No, Lark. No, Anchor Babies. That has to be a thing of the past. That's part of the con. That's part of the scam. But listen, I know I'm not going to be on air tonight. I have to go to town hall and make sure that the future of Studio A is going to be locked up and secure for at least another half decade, and that we don't have to start looking for anything, whatever. So that's tonight. But we have a wonderful rest of the week coming up. 9 o'clock. We're still going to have. Book club. So if you're a monthly sponsor, look out for all of your emails and stuff like that. Around 3 o'clock, I'm going to send out the book club links. That'll be at 9. We'll be back on the horse tomorrow at 7 p.m. And you can email, get into the Discord, the Gilded, the Telegram, whatever the hell you like. So no 7 o'clock show today, but I will be doing a lot of other stuff in support of the show, and there you have it. Oh wow, A's baby was born in a Walmart. She doesn't belong to Walmart though. Well, let me ask you: do you have at least some sort of a monthly allotment? If you have a baby that's born in Walmart, does Walmart give you like maybe $200 a month of paper towels, or is there any diapers? Is there any kind of perk to having a child there? Like, I think any sports stadium, that if you have a baby in a sports stadium, I think you should have at least a small lifetime ticket plan. That'd be great.
Except then people will be going there to have their babies.
Hey, I don't know how many women are going to be. I don't know how many women will be that biggest fans of one particular team or another, that they would actually choose to get over to Yankee Stadium once they start feeling labor pains, instead of going to a hospital.
Unless their husband's a super fan and he's the one driving.
That is something that I believe, even if you are a super fan, it's just incidentally you were there and you start having labor pains.
But theoretically, isn't that like what anchor babies are? I mean, if a woman's coming in pregnant, or isn't it kind of the same idea?
Well, no. It's one thing to say that a sports franchise is going to have a very rarely awarded sales promotion or marketing promotion. If you have a baby here, we're going to give you a lifetime supply of something. Maybe not tickets.
But I think it would increase the likelihood that a baby would be born there.
Maybe.
Same idea of people coming here.
Maybe.
If
but
they know that they're going to have, even if they're not coming in pregnant, but like to your point about are they citizens or not.
Ladies, only the ladies.
I'm not saying that I would do it or that most women would, but I think it would increase the chances.
That somebody would try?
Yeah.
If somebody would try it, again, it would be such a rare promotion because of how inconvenient the whole damn thing is. Like, the whole anchor baby, I mean, it's similar. It's similar to the anchor baby thought, but very different in the way that there's no place to facilitate a birth in a. I guess they can take you to there must be some sort of a first aid or something in Yankee Stadium. I don't know I think if you start going into labor and that baby's coming on fast, they probably bring you to some kind of a first aid section that's like in the interior.
You might just be having the baby right there.
You could.
Videos like that.
Oh man, can you imagine actually delivering in your seat?
What happened in the Walmart? I don't think Walmart has a. Well, some of them have like pharmacies, but Was it just in like aisle 13 or?
Anybody in the chat room have a baby? Any women in the chat room have a baby that came on so fast that you delivered where you stood? And if so, where was it? Was it in a taxi? Was it at a zoo? Oh, Christian just said I went into labor at the zoo. But you had time to get to the you had time to get to the hospital though. You didn't have the baby in the snake house, did you? Or in the mouse house? Oh, can you imagine?
The big cat dead.
Well, I'm just thinking, can you know, all the custodians at like a Walmart, I'm sure that they have cleaned up a little bit of puke over their times. The kid throws up, they bring the pink sawdust out and they clean it all up. Can you imagine having to clean up like, you know, after birth? Do you bring in a special cleaning unit for that, or is it the same custodian has to clean up somebody's placenta
At Walmart?
at Walmart?
I'm not thinking they're calling in a specialty.
We got a placenta on aisle 6.
What is it?
Jerry, please bring the mop.
This, and I felt it hot.
We're gonna have to talk about this on the show now. My husband's mother was born on a dog sled in a snowstorm in the Arctic tundra. Is that for real, Lisa? That's serious. Okay, you know what? We're going to have spontaneous birth topic soon.
Should be fine.
That'll be good. That'll be a Friday night show. I'm gonna start a X/Twitter community thread, also a forum thread. Spontaneous births. Well, like labor, just boom out. It just came so fast. You had to deliver where you were.
It should be like fast births.
Fast births, spontaneous pregnancy and birth. You got pregnant. You brought the baby to full term. All within the same trip to Walmart. So, okay. We'll figure that out. That'll be a good Friday night talk. Thank you guys. You guys be well and enjoy the rest of your day. As I love to keep many of you in my thoughts and prayers, keep me in your intentions as well, just because I'm somewhat confident everything is going to work out. I'm confident everything's going to work out, but as far as preserving this particular studio location that we've been able to build our careers on for the last 10 years, on top of the 6 or so years before that, I'd love for things to stay where they are. So keep us in your thoughts and intentions. That'd be wonderful. Go and enjoy some non-Colombian coffee. And remember, Birthright citizenship is a activist scam. It's not real. And I'll talk to you guys soon, all right? Have a great day. Become a sponsor. Become a sponsor, ladies and gentlemen. That's the last thing I'll say. Lauren and I are coming up with a very special promotion for everybody that becomes a sponsor going into February. It's the first month that we're ever doing film club on top of book club. And there's Keto Brains that just joined us on Instagram. I got my Keto Brains in my coffee right here. Can't wait to work with Keto Brains. I think that's going to be a little bit of a February fun thing there too. But in February, it's also going to be the first time that we ever do book club. Film club. And I think we're going to be putting together a nice package to send home to new sponsors that are like, movie themed and all that stuff. So go to the sponsor us tab on quitefrankly.tv. Become a sponsor for as little as $5 a month and be part of the Sunday streams, the book club, the film club, and God knows what else. But I appreciate you guys a lot. Talk to you soon. Be well. And now, and there.